recording is started, and then I will just be a minute or so on looking for something to talk about.
Thank you.
Okay, great teleport.
I was like, what is this guy doing?
Okay, nice,
This
likely
won't hurt.
aggressive nade.
It's just a scratch. You'll
Possibly
be
could be looking
fine.
for like a sleep on that Reaper. Um, just note, I mean, like it's really in the situation. Just keep in mind if we land that sleep on the Reaper, then we almost guarantee a kill on him because our team's able to then go for there. Therefore, go up and focus him and kill him. So that's a way that we can just open up for a kill super easily here, is just by sleeping him while he's off on our side.
It's just a scratch.
Yeah, I
You'll
don't
be
know why I
fine.
didn't do that. Makes so much sense when you say it. But I wonder if I was worried about something, maybe. I don't know.
This will only hurt for a minute.
You just died.
I have
Okay,
it.
that's convenient.
Nailed
Oh,
it.
massive sleep.
Thanks. I was proud of that one. I landed that and I was like, yep.
All right. I like that we're going for aggressive anti-nades, though for the current moment, noting that a lot of them are ending up in one-mans, so we will keep taking a look at those.
Okay.
Enemy contact.
How is it positioning wise? Because I'm not too sure whether I should be further up or not.
So currently here, I think that you are fine. I'll probably mention positioning if I need to. Like here, for example, so one thing I'm noticing in a couple situations here,
Mhm.
is our lack of line of sight on teammates. So this is now maybe like the third occasion where we don't have line of sight on our teammates. So you can come back all the way back here, right? Something like this, right? And we can see that we're not paying attention to Zarya here. Zarya's on our left. She gets
Nailed it.
charged out of her line of sight on the left, and now she dies, and we're not really paying too much attention to her. So that's a little bit of awareness. Possibly
Yeah.
could be helping her out if we're paying attention. Then we're going to come up here in a second, and I think Symmetra runs up out of our line of sight, right? So here we can't really see Hog, but that's fine. I mean, there's not much we can do about Hog. Okay, Symmetra, I think, walks forwards here, right? And then watch. So she walks forwards, right? Right up there. And we're not
Yeah.
really, once again, paying too much attention to her. So she gets hooked. She's dead. If we're paying attention to her and we're maybe up here, well, then we could sleep that. We could nade it, possibly save her. Probably say almost even more important than that is actually paying attention to the fact that she's dying, because it doesn't seem as though we're registering it until after she's dead, which is a problem. And then here Hog's pushing off to the side, and we can't really see him, which is fine. Honestly, it's fine. He's not in too much danger right here. Though right now he's getting really aggressive. We probably want to be just getting him in our line of sight. Possibly that might mean pushing to the left rather than wrapping all the way around. All right,
Okay.
and then here it's going to become a little bit bigger of an issue when, if you look down here, Zarya looks like she's pushing aggro, and she ends up getting hooked, and then in their team. And then once again, we have to run all the way around before we're able to actually see her, which
Yeah.
is just once again a problem. So therefore, right, when it comes to positioning and honest positioning in general, you have a bunch of check boxes that you're looking to check off at any point in time. You're thinking, do I have cover? Do I have high ground? We'll get into those if we need to. Do I have a good place to retreat to? Health pack maybe is a tiny bonus. But then the first on a specific checkbox is, can I see my team? Because if you cannot see your team, you cannot heal your team. So make sure at any given moment you have line of sight on as many teammates as possible, while still maintaining other good. There's a limit to that. You still want to maintain good positioning, right? If you wouldn't leave the really great positioning to see one person, unless you really need to see that one person. Or another thing to consider is that you don't want to throw yourself into danger just to see one person, right? Like if seeing one person is going to get you killed, don't do that. And then additionally, one person might just be on the other side of the map. It's not really something you can do. Like if you have somebody all the way in here, it's not like it's your job to go and try to chase them down, right? So it's just within reason, try to have as many people visible And I think that maybe you can see that like these like 3 times where people have been out of our line of sight, it's probably been pretty reasonable that we could have put them in our line of sight. It's not like it was too far out of the realm of reality. So does that all make sense?
Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. Alright. Yeah, I think I'm probably an interesting way to put it would be being reactive rather than proactive.
Or almost let me think about that. So I would say it's a combination of them because you have to react to where your team is walking. But yeah, it's when it comes to positioning, you want to be both of those. You want to proactively think about the future. Where's my team going to push? Where are they going to be? Like for example, if you are, if you see your Roadhog is running off to the right here, you can probably expect that he might walk around the corner. That's a proactively thinking about where he's going to be so you can ahead of time position yourself or something of that sort, right? You can ahead of time position yourself. Proactive versus reactive. Proactive positioning means that you're positioning before anything happens, you're predicting that something's going to happen. Reactive means that you're reacting to a situation and then moving. You want a mixture of the two. I can see where you're getting reactive from because you're saying you want to react to where your teammates are going. But at the same time, proactive is also incredibly important because if you're only ever reacting to situations, then your reactions are going to be delayed and then you're going to end up rotating too late. And then therefore it's not going to work out. So mixture of the two. Well, the tracking with that as well.
Yeah, alright, cool.
I've seen worse. You're going to live.
Helden
Da
sterben
wieder.
nicht.
You're covered.
Tempted to use nano there, but I think I've
You're
stopped
powered
myself.
up. Get in there.
Oh, there we go.
Alright,
My strength unleashed.
yeah, so she's high energy. Far as dead. Alright, that for who we had remaining alive, that was definitely a good nano to go for.
Yeah.
This will help.
This one was really recent. And I remember I just saw a tank died, and I was just like, fuck it, we need a better tank. I think that was like my general idea. It was just like, we need someone just to stand there. And that was my whole reason for the nano. Was that a good reason or a shit reason?
So, are you saying that you nano like to keep a tank alive? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was pretty much just like your hog's dead, so we don't have that 600 meat shield sort of thing. So I just
So,
nanoed Ariella to.
think of it like this, right? Every time you're nanoing somebody, right, you think
Mm.
of value in term of life points, and this is something the terminology I just came up with, so work with me here. So, or I just
Yeah,
came up with this
no.
like a session or two ago. So you have
Yep, yep,
life points when you are playing, then you're nanoing, right? So
yep.
if you nano and you save someone's life who is guaranteed to die, right? Let's say they're guaranteed to die, and you save their life, that is 1 life point that you've just acquired, right? Then
Alright.
if that hog, because hogs a regular hog isn't that great of a nano target, so he's going to get like 1 kill, and it's probably going to be with a hook, which he could have gotten anyways. So now you've gotten 2 life points. All right, now let's think through a big
Okay.
ult combo. Right, you have a Genji Nano Blade. How many, like, let's say at a minimum, unless something goes wrong, what's kind of like the average or minimum blade in amount of kills that Genji's gonna be getting?
In our rank, fucking like it's it's already spin a dice. You just guess. I would probably say on average 1.5, 2.
1.5? Oh, interesting. I would say like a 2 point or like a 2 to 3.
Oh,
What rank are you
oh
currently
shit.
at right now?
I'm silver currently.
Silver. Okay, so that might explain a little bit more of it. Um,
Yeah.
at the same time, yeah. So you would genuinely say that at your rank, like just Genji, if you nano him, he's not gonna get kills.
Pretty much, nah.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's
interesting.
Nanoblade combo is pretty inconsistent, I find. Um, yeah, just from chilling out of this rank, it's really inconsistent.
Okay, well that is fair enough. Do note that that is the probably the best combo for ultimates in the game. Or not, sorry,
Yeah,
not the best combo, but sorry, the best combo for nano is what I meant to say. The best nano
yeah,
combo in the game. Is
yeah,
a so I mean, like if you really want to nano other characters for the moment, that might be okay. But I would probably highly recommend swapping around if you ever start going up in ranks, and like even maybe try it out for a bit and see if it goes any better, because it's possible that, I mean, like, I don't know, it's possible that you nanoed, a couple times, and then it just messed up, and then you lost faith in your Genjis, and then now you never nano them, and then because you never nano them, I mean, they never have any good you never see any good blades because they're always going in with a regular blade, and then they're bad or something like of that sort. So in any case, Genji nano blade, usually I would say 2 to 3, right? Let's say nano far brush, right? Probably say
yep,
something like 2 to 3 kills, right? At a minimum.
yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah. So nano fire brush, 2 to 3 kills at a minimum. So we've already, right? We've already gotten 2 to 3 life points, and then additionally, the person that we're healing up isn't necessarily always guaranteed to die. Right? The tank isn't always guaranteed to die. In a lot of cases, we can probably keep him up even without nano boost. And then also they have the chance to go even more kills, right? So if
Yeah,
if you're looking at a scenario where okay, you could keep your tank is half HP, but you could keep him up. Okay, well then that you weren't going to lose that life point anyways, and then and then your far brush gets 4 kills. That's going to be 4 life points for you in comparison to the 2 life points that you're getting out of nanoing the hog deep to keep him alive.
oh, okay, okay. Then
So
just immediately eat shit.
So in this scenario, we did not react fast enough. We did not have audio awareness. So the fact that we had a Roadhog and a McCree flanking us here, we weren't really listening and keeping our ears open, or watching, and then therefore that ends up getting us killed. Um, yeah. So keep your ears open. Listen. Audio settings real quick, right? Turn up your normal volume. This is very subjective because everyone has different system volumes. Just turn it up and make sure that it's high enough for you. Music volume, turn it off or down, as I can clutter with your audio. Make sure that you have surround sound enabled, and if you do not have that as an option, then go and turn on the in-game option of Dolby Atmos for headphones. And then finally, if basically you could have all those enabled and still have pretty trashy audio awareness if you're not actively paying attention to your surroundings. So actively listen for footsteps and gunshots and abilities and ultimates, and your audio awareness is going to be better, and then you don't end up dying in the situation.
Sure thing.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
That was a solid barrage. I wanted to check to see if he actually put it on the high ground or not. I did.
Heal up.
Tried to.
Okay,
Reality.
so
Keep you healed.
I guess we'll give it another minute and we'll talk on that topic. So right here, for example, right, you see your entire team is pushed forwards. Probably want
Yeah.
to be pushed forward so we have line of sight on them if they're pushing that far in.
And a heavy
But they do back up, that's good. But they could have even pushed further into spawn, which would leave you not really even being able to participate.
The pain is coming.
Yeah, looking dumb.
Yeah.
Hidden shall
Just
be
to check, is it possibly in your mindset there? I mean, I just want to see it. That's a topic we can go in on. Is it possibly in your mindset that you're like, oh, that's bad positioning. They should not be pushing in the spawn. Therefore, I'm not going to push in the spawn.
Yeah. Yeah, I got called out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's what I was thinking.
that's what you're
Yeah.
thinking? All right. So that gets into a topic. So this is a quote from Jane. You may know him because you've been around
Yeah.
for a little bit. Yeah,
Love Jane. Jane's a
yeah.
champ.
So Jane, he said back in the day, he said, um, when one person does something stupid, that is called
Oh,
feeding. When
yeah.
6 people do something stupid, that's called a strategy, right?
Strategy, yeah.
So when your teammates, right, if you had one teammate sprinting into their spawn or two teammates sprinting into their spawn, let them do that because not much you can do about it. It really it's not a situation like if your Reiner just charges in, there's not much you can do in that situation. But if you have 3, 4, 5 teammates going into their spawn, then you probably
Yeah,
want to join them because if you do not, then you're that one teammate who is being stupid by sitting out of the fight because now they're in the fight and you are not, and therefore they're at a disadvantage. They're at even more of a disadvantage because you're not participating, right? Because if you
yeah,
think about it, if they're gonna die up there without you, well then what are you what are you gonna do? You're gonna 1v6 them, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you
exactly.
kind of have to, yeah, you kind of
Uh,
have to go and participate. Good.
yeah. No, point taken.
All right.
Oh shit, I should have known.
ده هيكون
Yep.
مؤلم.
Or use abilities is
You're
another thing
going to
there.
be okay.
What do you mean by abilities? I thought I only saw like my ability to nano.
Okay. Sorry. My apologies. I said that like 2 seconds afterwards. So I guess you did not have nade. Here we possibly could have naded, to help keep her alive. Um. Nano boost, probably would be okay in this situation. Right now, yeah. Honestly, Nano would be pretty decent here. Zarya is a decent target to go for. Far doesn't have barrage. The fight's even ish for the moment. You're at a disadvantage, but Nano can maybe pull that back around. So yes, Nano would be good here. And then Nade also could help a little bit.
Righto.
ده هيكون مؤلم. You're going to be okay.
I have no idea what happened with that bat. I think he just walked off the edge. I just don't think he realized where he was.
It's just a scratch. You'll be
Yes.
fine.
All right, so let's talk ability usage. So, when it comes to your abilities is how you get so much tremendous value. And Ana, you could say that if healing is how you do your job, abilities is how you carry your games, right? Because if you just heal bot, you could be the best heal bot, and you could probably go some places, right? If you're a really, really great heal bot, but you're gonna struggle to get value in your games because you're ignoring another really important part of your kit, and that is your abilities on Ana, because your abilities do a whole heck of a lot. Now, when you land, big sleeps, even, nades, I would say, is even bigger in a lot of cases. Like sleeps can be bigger, but not as often. Nades can be really, really valuable, right? And I see you going for a lot of anti-nades, but they're not usually getting a ton of value. So we'll talk more about the how. Right now, we're talking about the why. So you want to be going for anti-nades because anti-nades are so incredibly high powered. When you land like a 4, 5, 6 man anti-nade, in a lot of cases, that can be even more powerful than your nano boost because that's stopping their entire team from being able to heal for a period of time, which means that your team is able to melt through them and they can't do squat, they can't do nothing. And therefore, Nade is fantastic as an aggressive ability to be using. Now, when we are using it, couple things to note. Firstly, we could possibly be using it more frequently than we are currently, looking for quantity. Now, there are times where you hold on to it more. That's when you feel like you're under pressure. Like let's say they had flankers or a dive. When you're under either potential pressure or actual pressure, then that's when you'd start to hold on to your abilities much more. But if you don't really have any pressure, like look at their team comp, if they have nothing that can get on top of you regularly, you're probably just gonna be tossing out those abilities left, right, and center just every time you get them off a cooldown because you're trying to get as much value pumped out there as possible. And then you can maybe hold on to them if you see them running at you. Now, using it slightly more frequently. Additionally, when we are throwing them in there, we're either missing them or I think the I don't think I've seen more than a one-man anti-nade. I think I've only seen one man's, right? And we are comparing the value, right, between a one-man and a two-man. Two-man is literally twice the value, right? It's two times. That's a lot more value. You would be if I told you you're going to leave the coaching session and you're going to be twice as good. That's an insane much better, right? So if just two times better with your ability usage if you hit letting two people, and that's only two people out of six, right? You instead of just going for one or two people, you want to be going for three-man anti-nades. That's probably not just three times the value, but probably more like four times the value because of how this kind of I don't know if this is the right word, but exponentially grows as you're getting more and more antes. It gets more and more value. So, you get that the three people like four times the value. Four people, you're probably getting like five times, maybe 5.5 times, right? Something like that. And so forth, right? There's just so much more value by getting massive abilities. Same thing with sleep. Sleep is a little bit more here and there value because really like the only time sleep's gonna match that value is when you're stopping like an ultimate and when you're stopping like an ultimate that's where you can reach up to that like 5-6 man anti-nade level but at the same time it's still really important to get value out of sleep. So let's talk a little bit on how now we talked about the why, now let's talk about the how of how do you actually land your abilities better. All right. So when it comes to, and then just does that all make sense of
Never
why
stop
on the
fighting
Y
for
end?
what you believe in.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. So why or on the how end, right? Nade. Don't try to nade people directly, right? You're not trying to throw a nade at somebody because if you throw a nade at somebody and you miss, go sailing past them into nothingness. Additionally, they can also body block it from hitting people behind them if you throw it at them, right? Which means, once again, you're hitting less people. So instead, you want to hit it at the floor in between as many people as possible because you have a giant radius that hits everybody. And it's not going to get body blocked. It's not going to go sailing past them if you miss. So you want to hit floor. You can also do a wall or a ceiling above them. So if we're like below here, we can hit the floor. So we can aim at the ceiling, and then that would be a better way than trying to throw it at the person.
This is going to hurt.
So that's just going to be much better for when you're trying to land. Okay.
خلصنا على
Additionally,
الهدف.
this one's really big, important. Be ambitious with your nades. Make sure you're actively searching for people to be grouped up. This kind of gets into two topics here. I'll go off on a tangent here for a moment. When it comes to your nades, you do not want to be like in our gameplay. What we do is we go pew pew pow pow shoot nade, and we go pew pew pow pow pew pew sleep, right? And we're putting like half a second of thought into it, and then we're done with the ability. We did our job. We threw in an aid. It got a person, and then we move on. And that's our gameplay. You do probably want to be putting a little bit more thought into abilities than that because the more thought you put into it, the better your nade's going to be because you look for better situations for it. You are able to think through all the different techniques we're talking about here, and then also you're going to be able to get around a lot of obstacles if you're thinking about it. So thinking about it allows you to put more effort into it, whereas if you're just putting in half second, it's not going to work out too well for you. So moving on, right? When it comes to, I'm forgetting where I was going with where I went off of a tangent from, but yeah, put effort into your abilities. So when it comes to throwing in your nade, right, you want to look for as many people as possible, and when you're looking for as many people as possible, that's not going to be whenever you deem it, right? You're not going to throw in a nade and then they're all going to swarm around your nade. If you're just going throughout the fighting on pew pew shoot shoot and then you're just randomly tossing in a nade, they're probably not even grouped up, right? But if you're taking 4-5 seconds to think through and look for situations for a nade, then you're going to see that throughout the fight they're going to gradually converge and then disperse and then converge and then disperse and then converge, and you're looking for when they're all converging into this tiny little ball, and that will happen, like I said, regularly throughout a fight. There's probably, depending on the team composition, you're probably going to see people group up into balls of 3, probably like 5 times a fight, right? But that's only going to be for like, 2 seconds out of the, out of 5 times. So if you're throwing it in there randomly, you're still probably going to not get that 3-man. So watch for people to group up. Additionally, think through like all the different obstacles. I don't think honestly obstacles was a big thing because I think it was mainly just actively looking for the bigger nades was a little bit bigger. But think through the obstacles, right? Shields can get in the way. Shields can get in the way. Shield tanking abilities, teammates, tanks themselves, right? Teammates walk to the left, walk to the. I just did that wrong, but walk to the left, walk to the right, walk backwards, walk in front of them, wait for them to move out of the way. Shields, wait for them to break, wait for them to go down, wait for the character to die, throw it on someone around the shield, throw it over the shield or around the shield. You have a ton of different options. Same thing with abilities, and then tanks themselves is the same as your teammates. You just look to throw it around them, right? And then once you get around all those obstacles, then you'll be able to do a lot better. And then we'll talk in a second here. I guess, sorry, let me go into that tangent now, right? Or I guess it's not really a tangent. We're just different topic now, right? This is how to get around all those obstacles incredibly easily, right? Enemy team, our team, main angle, right? Your diamond player might have heard of this before, right? This is the main angle. If you're trying to shoot down this, you're shooting into trying to get your nade past your teammates, past shield, past the tanks, past the tanking abilities, into the back line, and it's not gonna be too easy, right? You can do it, not gonna be too easy. But if we go like this, well, now we've just instantly gotten around our teammates and the shields and the tanks and everything straight into the back line. That's called an off angle. It's a different angle from the main angle, and it's a very easy way to get a ability through, especially nade, right? Same example, or a different example here. Enemy team, our team, main angle, just, heal up, hop up to the high ground here, right? Very, very fast, very safe, straight into the back line, off angle. High grounds all act as natural off angles as long as we're above them. If they're all the way over here, though, they can still shield us and whatnot, so not as much of one. And then on attack, so if you're landing a longer range nade, this only works if you are scoped in. Scope in, line up your ultimate charge with an enemy or whoever, toss in a nade, and then that nade's going to hit them from any height or any range that you're at.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep,
I didn't do that.
Here, if they're on a little bit more of a slope to us, we're going to line up our Q instead, and we're going to toss that in there. That should hit them. Right. It's always fun to hear people's reactions on that, because that's my reaction the first time I heard of that.
What? That is crazy.
Yep. What's funny is I didn't learn about that until after I stopped playing Ana, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
just guessing it. It's crazy.
Alrighty. Though of course, probably don't need that when you're like right next to somebody or like close to mid range. But mid range to far range, that's where it's gonna really be good. All right. You tracking? Everything makes sense? Any questions?
Yeah, no, I think I'm good for that. Yeah,
All
I think I've been accidentally doing that off-angling thing. But it's very rare. If I feel like I think the only time that I've been really doing it is when I feel like I'm 100% safe.
Yeah, so usually off angles are safe, right? And there's a difference between an off angle and a flank, right? So an off angle, because here, right, you can just immediately double back to your team and you're completely good, right? Like you're immediately back to your team. Flank would be enemy team, our team. We went around and around and around. So flanks are much longer and much more dangerous. And as Ana, you probably never want to be going on flanks.
No, yeah.
There are some characters like Tracer, Soldier, right? But not Ana. Because, yeah. Alright,
Yeah,
so...
100% no mobility.
Yeah. Let's see, more stuff. When we were talking about putting time into it, when you're putting time into it, what I'll walk you through what that looks like, you're probably going to be doing something like this, where you're coming in, you're looking, okay, I'm looking for nade. I'm going to, you can put healing on autopilot, because it's, in a lot of cases, healing shouldn't be taking 100% of your brain power, right? It's kind of something that once you start to get used to a little bit more, Or even just like you can kind of just put it there where you're just going pew 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 pew, right? You don't really have to think about it too hard. So put healing on autopilot. Okay, I'm participating and I'm going. Okay, I'm looking for nade. I'm looking for nade. Where am I doing it? Okay, I'm waiting for people to group up. I see it in there. I'm lining it up. Line it up. Tossed it in. And that took me like 5 seconds instead of the half a second. And you can be doing that even while it's on cooldown, okay? So shooting, lining. Okay, I see it. I'm lining it up, right? Comes off a cooldown immediately as soon as it comes off a cooldown, right? And that way you're getting them out. Once again, quantity, but also quality is what you're looking for. All right. Sleep. Sleep Dar, I think you actually were landing better sleeps than nades, but at the same time, use it slightly more often if they have nothing to contest you, and then also just make sure you're leading your sleep ahead of where they're moving since it's a projectile. At further ranges, you don't have to do that when you're right next to them, but when they're further away, you definitely have to lead it further and further ahead of where they're moving. Let's talk range real quick. So Anna, your range against the enemy team and your team. If you are coming into a fight and the fight's happening up there and we're sitting all the way back here, probably not what we want to be doing in a lot of cases. Not every case, but in a lot of cases we probably don't want to be back here. Some people get confused because they're like, oh, Anna has a scope and she's classified as a sniper, so she's a sniper, right? I should play far, far back. No, not really. I would disagree with that. I would say that in this game, the only true sniper is Widowmaker, who actively wants to play as far away as possible. And then even then, there's some, she still has a range in which too far is too far. And then Ash is probably the second furthest back, right? Now, when it comes to why you do not want to play at a range, that has nothing to do with your gun. If it was only up to your gun, then you would, yes, want to play as far back as possible. But the other factor that goes into this is the fact that you have abilities. And if you are playing way, way, way far back, abilities probably aren't going to be too easy to land from back here because they are inherently projectiles. And if you're tossing them in from a mile away, then yes, you have that cool nade tech, but by the time it got there, they've already moved out of the way, right? So it's gonna become a lot less accurate. And we just talked about how important abilities are. And then also if you're too far away, you won't even be able to land nano boost. Now that I'm not even sure.
Yeah, when
I'm
you
not
go
even
too
sure if we
far
can.
away, you're out of
Yeah.
range. Yeah, yeah,
Not even sure if we can find a distance here, but if you go like here, like I can't land nano boost. So if you go too far, then you won't even be able to land nano.
You're powered up.
Um,
Get in there.
so watch that as well. Now, what should your range be, right? And what are the exceptions? So your range should probably be close ranged to close to medium from your team. So close is the preference, medium's okay, right? So close to medium. And then against the enemy team, it's kind of the reverse. It's medium to close, right? So you can be close, maybe like for an off angle, right? Like we were talking about before over here. But it's more so maybe a medium, like you're preferencing the medium. So close to medium to teammates, medium to close to the enemies.
Okay.
And then this allows you to do, the position, like that would be like this positioning right here. Close to our teammates, medium away from the enemy team, right? We can toss in nades and be a lot more accurate than if we were sitting all the way back here. We could do this, I mean, theoretically, we could toss in a nade from back here, but, we might lose out on visibility, and then that's just going to be a lot harder of a nade to be able to land, right? So there are going to be some situations where sitting really far back is better, just based off of the positioning that you're offered. But I would say that's rare, and it's map dependent on specific points where being really, really far back can give you lots of visibility. So they're not to say that you're going to be super, super. It's gonna be super, super bad if you're sitting like off to the side. It's just there might be some more preferable positioning, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. I think
I
that we are
expected
good to
more
hop
from you.
back, and then we got a couple more minutes. We'll go like a couple minutes over since I was late. My apologies on that. And then yeah, let's head back in.
Sleep's important.
Traveling to Eichenwald. Ready.
Justice reigns from.
I think I might have been prioritizing not dying too much.
Yeah, so think of it like this when it comes to not dying, right? When it comes to not dying, dying of course is not good. Dying's not a very good thing. But there's also the reverse effect, right? So if you are only focused on staying alive, I could be the most survivable person in the game by sitting in spawn the entire game and accomplishing absolutely nothing. Right? In the same fashion, you can be the most survivable, you can never die, have 0 deaths, but not put yourself in any aggressive or maybe slightly risky scenarios to get value, and then therefore you're going to be missing out on a lot of value. Now, that's not to say that you want to go in and die, but there are ways to get more aggressive, to push closer in, to make a little bit more risky plays while also still staying alive, right? So I can push closer, but stay with my team and use cover and use my abilities well and whatnot, right? And those things will help keep me alive while playing a little bit more aggressive. So you're looking for a balance between productivity and survivability. You obviously don't want to die, but you also don't want to focus so heavily on not dying that you end up not accomplishing as much. So yeah, I think you got that point because you were being the one who brought it up in the first place, right?
Yeah. I think I'll try playing a little bit more risky because I think like I do notice these sort of need ideas, but I just don't go for them because I don't want to
Mm,
die. So I think I'll try. Oh, I was so proud of this. I saw the hog walking towards me and I slept in.
nice.
In mid dragon. I'm not sure if you can see this.
Yeah, I saw it.
I was so proud of that.
Nice,
I felt
nice.
so
So here, big, big, big
smart.
nade opportunity. Firstly, we're a little bit I think we're a little bit far
Yeah.
out here. Positioning is just a little bit far from the fight.
Okay.
I guess actually, I guess it's not too shabby because of where our teammates are positioned. There's a hog next to us. Never, I'll take it that back. Right, it's fine. Now nade, we tried to toss in a nade and we're a little bit delayed on it. Reinhardt dropped shield and we wait until after he's put shield back up to toss it in there, and then it ends up hitting his shield and not hitting anybody. So
Yeah.
watch for those obstacles.
I was fine. Was that a good ult by the hog? I thought it was a terrible ult. I thought he was going to kill us anyway.
Regrets when
13-minute.
Like, yeah, I bobbed it, but he just like
1, 2, 3, and 4. They were probably gonna win the fight anyways, so yeah, it probably wasn't needed.
yeah. Okay. I was so surprised when I got ulted.
But that's honestly for you a good thing because now he doesn't have an ult and he just wasted it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there, note that I think that is a good nade, but it's kind of it's not ambitious. It's a one person. I mean, not saying that's a bad nade. That's honestly probably a good nade. It's not like you can get any more people that probably guarantees the kill. And Reinhardt, that's good. But right here, we're positioning really far away. Probably could be pushing a little bit closer. Even up to
Yeah.
that left corner would be better than all the way back here.
Where the pillar is.
Yeah, up where the pillars. Because, like, look, yes, look, we have a ton of visibility back here, but abilities to struggle a ton.
go.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
note now, I think Reinhardt's outside of our nano rage here as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
It's high noon.
No, before watching this video, I thought this was a good spot.
Yeah. Now,
Before like the session.
yeah. Now, if the fight pushes closer, then being up on this icon probably wouldn't be too shabby. I mean, that'd probably be a decent spot to be in. But only not if the fight's all the way back here, right? But if the fight's
Yeah.
over here, well, then that's not too bad of a spot to be in. Yeah.
Get back in the fight.
Let them up.
Helden sterben nicht.
Yeah, probably just tossing in nades right now.
This is
There
the
you go.
third.
That's pretty big. First 2-man, I think.
Let's go.
Probably could be nanoing or Reinhardt there, but I think we're a little too far away for that. And then that could keep him alive and in the fight, and he's probably the best target to nano anyways here.
I remember who went down.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Yeah, I hear the McCree, so I panic. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Let's rewatch that for a second. Yeah, just missed a sleep.
You're powered.
Yeah.
So here we nano Reinhardt.
Your
Yeah,
partner.
here I do hear the McCree, and I just
Mm,
panic, so I just nano him
mm.
immediately.
Okay,
It's
so a
like,
little bit delayed in hearing the McCree. When we do hear the McCree, moving towards our team, looking to sleep him faster, are options there. Additionally, if you're able to help it, probably don't want to be nanoing right now. What was
yeah,
what would
I'm
be the
with
reason for
you.
that?
I thought the McCree was way closer.
No. All
I thought
right,
he was
let's
like literally
yeah,
flashbang me.
let's say you have the choice. Let's say the McCree's not there. Why wouldn't you want to nano
Oh,
right now?
oh, because it's gonna take him fucking forever to get there. I think
Yeah,
he charged out of
exactly.
spawn, so he just has to walk there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
So here,
yeah,
audio awareness, pay attention, walk away from McCree, right?
yeah. I just fucking whiff. Yeah. And there was a massive dragon that just annihilated everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Also, just watch ults that are used first are better than ults that are used second. So try, or generally better. So try to use them in fights. Don't hold on to them because if you don't ult, then it's not doing anything. So just get it
Yep.
out there in the fight rather than holding on to it and
All
losing the fight. All right. We are going to do a quick review. And then we are going to go over the main points and then wrap up the session from there. So we were on Ana the whole time. Nades,
Never
or sorry,
stop
ability
fighting
usage.
for what
Ability
you believe
usage.
in.
Put more effort into it. Oh snap! I missed the topic. Right,
I'm
really
Lee.
quickly before we go into this.
Hello.
How do you apply the things we've talked about? Right, because some of it might seem a little bit more, a little bit more vague. Like how the heck do I listen better? So you will look to apply what you're trying to work on the same way you apply anything, and that is that you're going to actively focus on it while you're playing. Very similarly to how we said you focus on your ability usage and you put, an extra 5 seconds into it. Similar to that idea, you're going to make sure you're actively focusing. That means you're not going to just, even though you're playing for fun, right? You're not just going to play to play. You're not going to just autopilot. You're not going to purely play to win, as that just leads to stagnation. So you're going to play to improve, as when you play to improve, that actually leads to more wins, better gameplay, more fun when you play to improve. Now, what that looks like within your gameplay is that you're going to actively focus on something that needs work. So, if ability usage is the biggest thing that we talked about, then you would think to yourself, ability usage, ability usage, ability usage. That's a mouthful. Nade, 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 sleep, 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 sleep. Where you are constantly giving yourself a reminder to think
Is
through
that
them,
it?
to put effort into them, and
Yep.
when you do that, your abilities are probably going to be a bit better. Now, if you do that for a certain period of time, it will form it as a positive habit. After it forms as a positive habit, then you can move on to something else because it kind of just comes naturally now. It's not something you need to put as much effort into, as much focus, and you can move on to something else. Now, don't try to do everything all at once because that will get overwhelming. Instead, pick one category or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category, which we will go over here in a moment. Any questions on that?
Nope, I'm good.
Hello.
I'm
All right.
happy.
All right. So ability usage, effort, really important. It's how you get value. Scope nade tech. Land.
This is
Don't
going
hit
to
it
hurt.
at people. Land on the floor between people. Wait for people to group up. Actively watch for them to group up. Give it a couple seconds. Don't throw it in after half a second of
Hello
thinking
there.
it through. Yeah. Besides that, think of all the obstacles that can get in the way. Shields, tanks, teammates, tanking abilities, off angling. We'll talk about that with positioning, but you can get into that as well. Sleeps, lead it a little bit. Make sure you're using him off cooldown, both of your abilities, that they have nothing to contest you, to pressure you. And then once they do, then you can hold on to them a little bit more. But we didn't have anything to contest us that last game. And we kind of we'd toss it in and then toss it in.
Name it.
And then we'd get them back off cooldown. And then we'd hold on to them for 5 seconds each, and then we'd use them after that. So it could be getting them out a little bit
Is
more
that it?
frequently. Overall, probably a medium high priority for you to work on. Because it's just gonna
Okay.
get you a lot more value in your games. Okay. Then you have your ult usage. Ult usage, don't hold on to it. Make sure you are thinking through, those life points. Who am I gonna get the most value on it for popping it on? Make sure that you are using it earlier in fights. We didn't go too in depth on that, but use it early in fights, not super late in them. And then overall, that probably goes to maybe like a lower end of a medium priority for you to work on. Um, then comes mechanics. Mechanics.
Need healing.
Um,
I'm in A.
don't think we talked too much on mechanics. Yeah, I
That's
don't.
like aim and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
aim and all of the above that's related to aim. Um,
Yep.
overhealing, but that's not the overhealing, ammo usage, different methods for aiming, um, target priority, but we didn't really go over any of that. So therefore probably low priority for the current moment. Not to say that's not something that would come up in the future, but currently for the current moment, not a big thing to be worrying about. But as you go higher, might resurface as the skill requirements become higher. As people force you to make more mistakes and whatnot, that might become a bigger thing. So keep it on the back burner for now, though.
Double kill.
Then
Yep.
moving on, you got positioning.
Hello there.
Positioning, get a little bit closer.
Ahlan.
You want close to medium range from teammates, medium to long range from enemies.
Hello.
For specifically for your ability usage, make sure you're using cover, taking high grounds. High grounds act as off angles. Off angles are fantastic. Look to take them. That's how you get around
ازيك؟
the all those different obstacles for your abilities. And then also just make sure you're not
أهلاً.
flanking. Overall ability usage probably went to a medium priority or so. And then finally, you have awareness. Awareness is pay attention to your health
عامل إيه؟
bar and your team. Where your teammates at. Where's the and this is especially a big one. Where's the enemy team and where's our team, right? Sometimes we just lose track of players, right? Like we wouldn't notice McCree until he's on top of us, and we would didn't notice our teammates who were running around the corner, right? That's something else in positioning. I forgot to mention, right? Make sure teams in your line of sight with positioning. Um, make sure that you're actively being aware of what's going on around you. Look left, look right, do a quick 360 once in a while, right? Don't tunnel vision on what's immediately in front of you. Pay attention to to everything. Keep your ears open, listen, and then that's it for the moment. A lot of
Double
odds and ends.
experience.
And then overall, that probably went to higher end of a medium for you to work on. And then to put that all in order, you got
Hello
number
there.
1 with abilities,
Hello.
2 awareness,
أهلاً.
3
عامل
positioning,
إيه؟
4 ult usage, and then that's about it. Any questions?
No, I think that's good. Probably the question would be, how long would you like to see me back? How long till the next session I book in?
You play 5 hours a day. You could probably see improvement if you're working on things. All right, I like that. We just wouldn't want to do it tomorrow because if we did it, in a day or
Mm-mm.
two, then I'd just pretty much since there's probably a lot of stuff to go over with like no offense with lower ranks there's a lot more content to
Oh
review,
yeah,
so we probably could go over
100%.
new stuff, but it'd be a lot of repeat stuff, and then also on top of that wouldn't be as useful to you because you still have stuff to work on anyways because I just gave you a bunch of stuff to work on. My recommendation is usually give it a week, right? Then within a week's time you could probably make some decent progress on a couple of things, and then you come back, get a checkup, work on some new advanced stuff, work on some more new stuff, get some more info, and then possibly in that time you might have even knocked out your by in a week you might have knocked out ability usage out of your top spot, right? And then you can now know what is the next thing I need to put the attention into. So
And
prop week is usually around the time. Not any other questions?
um, no, not that I can think of. No.
Alrighty. And then one moment, your chips. What was your in game or sorry in fiber name? Then Korean.
Uh, I forgot. I'll go
Yeah,
find
okay.
it for you real
I
quick.
found it. Thank you. It wasn't opening before, so I just had to go check. Okay, so you got the diamond package. So what will happen now is I'm going to go over to Fiverr, mark the order as delivered. You can now go mark it as complete and leave a review. Oh,